The Chinese Communist government is the largest external threat to our country. There's no doubt about that. A nation with nearly 1.5 billion people, when they're ruled by literally a few dozen elites, that is always a recipe for disaster. I remember as a kid watching a TV program. It was a documentary. And in the documentary, the communist government in Beijing stated that their goal was to be a superpower by 2025. And I was a nerdy kid that liked geopolitical stuff. And I remember thinking, that's not going to happen. They're a backward agrarian society. They have a centralized economy. They have no rule of law, and they have a stagnant vision. But now let's fast forward to 2020. China has reached that goal, and they're 5 years early. Their GDP last year was $14.5 trillion. They have the second largest economy in the world, second only to ours. And they have every intention of surpassing us. The Chinese have a standing army of 2 million active troops and can pull from a vast reserve of tens of millions. They also have something called the Chinese People's Armed Police Force. And they're estimated to be about 1.5 million folks that keep domestic peace and tranquility for the ruling regime. There is very little rule of law in China. Private property rights are shaky at best, and there is nada freedom of speech, religion, assembly, or travel. All of these rights we as Americans take for granted, but they don't even exist for the citizens of our greatest adversary. China is on the march. Make no mistake about that. The Chinese virus that came out of Wuhan, the exact same city where they do biological and medical research, but their official story is that COVID-19 came from bats. Those are kind of things that make you go, One thing we know about communists and their governing elites is that they lie incessantly. The Soviet Union did it, China's still doing it, North Korea is a joke, and the Chinese government's doing it as well, and they do it nonstop. They'll say whatever they need to cover up what they're doing, what their goals are, anything to achieve their aims. That's why it's so incredibly dangerous to see the Democratic Party look the other way and to watch the mainstream media literally regurgitate Beijing's propaganda and messaging. And CNN is by far the worst culprit. We need fighters in Washington that will expose the dangers of China, hold them accountable for their misdeeds, for their lawlessness, and for their aggression. President Trump can't do it alone. We need reinforcements. He needs reinforcements. Send me to DC, and I'll work fiercely and ferociously to expose China and the clear and present danger they pose to our country, both today and in the days to come. I'm Senator Pat Fallon, a proud Christian, patriot, conservative Republican. I'm running to be a candidate for Congress to serve the wonderful people of the 4th Congressional District. And I'd be honored and humbled to have your support and your vote on August 8th in Sulphur Springs. God bless you, and God bless Texas.
I'm Pat Fallon, and I approve this message.